Good evening, guys. Can you hear my voice?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Visual.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we will wait 1 or 2 minutes, then we'll start the class. Okay.
सर आवाज तो आ रही है सर, लेकिन बहुत धीरे आ रही है, बहुत धीरे। लाइक जो ईयरफोन नहीं लगाया है उसको नहीं सुनाई दे रहा होगा।
I just took the class from the other guys. They were audible properly, and I am taking the same class. Please connect your headphones and listen. Right? I can't help, guys, because uh, I'm trying to do from my
You
side
are
whatever.
audible, Pupil.
You're audible.
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Okay. Please increase the volume from your side, or okay. Can we recall what we discussed in the previous classes? Anyone? So if you recall, in the previous class, we discussed about single processor and multi-processor systems that will help us to do multi-programming and multitasking. And we discussed that, previous to previous class, we discussed various fundamentals of operating system, how the storage devices are there, what is interrupt. In the yesterday's class, we tried to understand what are the processor, like how a single processor system will work, how a multi-processor system will work, how the multiprocessor is designed with single core multiprocessor system and dual core systems. We try to understand non-uniform access memory, NUMA multiprocessing systems. We try to understand what are the various issues that will arise when we go for multiprocessing system, like how process management will happen, what are the activities, how the file management will happen, how the CPU will schedule, how the memory management will happen, disk management, input output management. There are various issues are there when we go for multiprocessing and multitasking systems. We discussed briefly that what is operating system responsibility as a resource manager with respect to all these parameters, right? And we try to understand what is the broad view of an operating system job is, like with respect to various management, like process management, memory management, storage management, file management, input output management, cache management. All these things is a responsible uh, person by operating system. So that's what we try to understand, and we also try to understand um, nowadays everybody is using multiprocessing systems, and we try to understand what is the number of cores in a processor that is being built. When it's i7, we try to understand there are 4 cores. So I asked you to explore what could be the number of processors in i3, number of cores in i3, number of cores in i5, number of cores in i7. Now i9 also came. I9 also is in the market. I asked you to explore like what are the number of cores in that. I hope you would have done that. So this would be our last discussion on introduction to operating system. What is an operating system will do, and after that we will try to discuss what could this introduction will lead into. Perhaps we'll try to discuss some introduction to data structures also, and we'll try to cover the concepts, data structures, and operating systems in the subsequent classes. So what the plan is, we will try to finish this. What is an operating system will do. This is your part 3 lecture to the introduction of operating systems. This will help us to construct a bridge why data structures is needed, and we try to have a broad overview of what is data structure, what is an algorithm, why we need data structure, uh, what are the various data structures are available, how we are writing an algorithm, how we are calculating time complexity. All these parameters we'll discuss. Uh, as I told in the first class, helping and discussing data structures might help you for your practical assignments or lab implementation purpose. So we can try to cover the data structures concepts first. Then after finishing data structures, we'll get back to operating system concepts, like how this introduction, when I say that how the processes are created, how one process will create other process, how how the process will communicate with each other, inter-process communication, how deadlocks are handled, how memory management will happen, how the CPU schedule will take place, what are the various algorithms are there. All these aspects we'll try to cover subsequently, because that's how your curriculum was designed. Your curriculum was designed in a such a way that we will discuss the introduction of operating system and introduction of data structures and algorithms and various parameters. Then we'll discuss the data structures concepts and operating system concepts. That's how your curriculum is designed. We will follow that. Okay. So let us now continue our discussion on operating system. So we try to understand that nowadays we can run multiple operating system on the same mission, right? You can run 2 3 operating systems on the same mission. So a computer running a single operating system will look like this. You have a hardware, you have a kernel. Kernel is an integral part of an operating system which will load and run the operating system. On the top of it, you have a process. You have a number of processes. Like when I say that a Word application, a PPT is a process, a Google browser, Chrome browser is a process. You run a number of application. That program in execution will turn out to a process. This is how a single operating system will look like. But we have an idea of virtualization. Virtualization will help you to have multiple operating systems run on your mission simultaneously. So what happens here is virtual missions. I can show you one demonstration how virtual mission will work. So what happens is you have a hardware, you have virtual mission manager, you have each virtual mission independently is divided, and each virtual mission will have its own kernel, and you will run the process with respect to this. Again, this kernel is operating system different, this kernel operating system is different, and this kernel operating system is different. So using this virtual manager, you can run 3 4 operating systems on your mission. Okay, this is possible because of virtualization. So one example I'll show you now for your help. So this is, I'm running Windows 10 operating system. Okay, this is Windows 10 operating system. uh, Now I have a virtual mission manage. You can have, there are various softwares that are available. One of the best software is VM Workstation, VM Workstation Player. So this is virtual manager where workstation player. So it will look like this. This is a non-commercial purpose. So you can seek the help in online help. You can get what is a virtual VM workstation parameters are. You can download freely. You can install it freely. After that, so what, this is a virtual manager, like how we are saying this virtual mission manager. Okay, so this is what actually this VMware is. So what I did is, on top of it, you can create a new virtual machine. So when you are creating a new virtual machine, you can create it. You have an image of that operating system, right? So you can browse it and select that image. I think I don't have any image with me, but if you download, say, Ubuntu. So Ubuntu operating system, I am running on the top of Windows. Now I am selecting Ubuntu. I'm opening that. So you can uh, click next. So you can write your name. Say my name is Satish, and username, password, something. You type it. So you can click next. Username must be consists of only lowercase characters. Okay, so you can see here, this is your virtual machine Ubuntu 64-bit. You can click where your file wants to keep. So because this virtual machine is running on the top of Windows operating system, the virtual machine will store here in users, suggest documents, virtual machine. So you can see that there is a folder will be created on the documents. We have where is this? Documents should have virtual machines here. Okay, let me create this. Perhaps after this it will pay. Okay, you can documents and virtual machines at Ubuntu 64. Next, so you can allot. So your hard disk, what is your space in hard disk? So this is 75 GB. This is 335 GB. So around 500 GB. So your 500 GB hard disk, you can make it as a partition. So some part of this space will be allocated to this virtual machine. You can allocate my operating system will need maximum of say 20 GB or 30 GB, something like that. So from your hard disk, this virtual machine will allocate 30 GB of hard disk to this virtual machine. So you click next. So you can customize your hardware. Okay, so how much RAM you want? My RAM, my system RAM is 4 GB. I showed you that, right? So you can click here, properties. So my system GB has 4 GB RAM. So when I'm running this operating system, Windows 10 will run. On the top of it, VMware will run. So how much GB I should allocate to the Ubuntu operating system, I can decide. Okay, so the recommended memory is 2 GB, but you can maximum recommend up to 3 GB, because that 1 GB should always run on Windows operating system. So maximum is 3 GB, but we can keep in 2 GB. So you have processors, how many cores you want? I have 4 cores totally. So I'll allocate 2 cores for virtual machine, 2 cores I will run the base operating system. Okay, so network adapter, like whatever whenever the connection power on, whatever the internet connectivity I have, I will share the same IP address with the virtual machine also. Okay, USB controller is 3. You can select whichever you want. Then sound card, it will detect automatically. You have printer, present display, auto detect. So you can choose your hardware, how much RAM, how many processors, what is the file system. All these things you can decide, and you once you customize this hardware, you can start finishing it. You can see all these details here. It is coming. This is the virtual machine details. So once you design this, so it will start working. Your operating system VMware will load your operating system, and it will install the Ubuntu operating system. You can see this, right? So it will. So Ubuntu 20 operating system is now installing on virtual machine player. Okay, so but however I am running Windows operating system, but still I am able to install Ubuntu operating system because of the virtualization. Okay, so you can run n number of operating systems, like how I installed Ubuntu. You can install Windows 10, Windows XP, Windows Vista, Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 11, which is coming newly, or Ubuntu operating system, some other operating system, Raspberry Pi operating system. You can install. So once this does, now it's in, the operating system has been installed. Once this is done, you'll be able to see in my home folder. You can able to see this. Okay, so this is some interface how the uh, you can power on. Once you connect the USB pen drive, how it is connected from one disk to other disk. You can connect or disconnect. It will show all these features. So let it complete 100%, then you can play the operating system on the top of it. So this happens because you have uh, you have here virtual machine. Now I created a new mode process. So this process is running behind to make my job better, right? So using virtualization, you can install a number of operating systems. Now your virtual machine, I have, once I'll finish, I'll show you that you can have 2-3 operating systems running. So your virtual manager will interface with the hardware. See, allocated the 30 GB of space, 2 GB of RAM. All these things will be applicable to the virtual machine. Okay, the virtual machine will access my 2 GB of my hardware RAM and 30 GB of my hard disk. That is true. So the virtual machine manager will come access my hardware and provide to the kernel. But whereas each virtual machine is running its own operating system and the process are different. Okay? In order to have this virtualization, you have to enable at the beginning when your boot option is coming at the time itself. You should enable that. Give me 1 second. क्या है कुछ नहीं.
तो भाई प्रोफेसर
सर आपका आवाज नहीं आ रहा।
Sir, you are muted.
Guys, am I audible now?
Yes, sir. Now you're
Yes,
audible.
sir.
My screen is not visible, right?
Sir, that one is
Yes, sir.
visible. What you checking 88%, that is visible.
Now, can you able to say 93%?
अबे यार इसकी पता नहीं यार अबे ये और लाभ करेगा तो उसकी क्या औकात है
Okay, just have patience. My system is hanged. That's why I think you are not able to see the screen. Give me a couple of minutes. We will sort it out.
Sir,
Yes. Yes.
if we start this process of virtual machine and our system also start like hang, then can we remove this that virtual
Yes, you
machine
can.
can
Yeah, see, once you are loading a virtual machine, see, if your RAM is sufficiently good enough, my system is having only 4 GB RAM, so allocated 2 GB RAM to my virtual machine, and 2 GB, my now system is occupying 2 GB only for running the whole system. In the 2 GB, I'm running my web browser and the PowerPoint presentation along with the virtual manager is running on the top of it. So because RAM is occupied too much, the process is executing concurrently. However, it is taking time to execute each process. So when your RAM is less and your processor speed is too much, there is a mismatch. So your process will wait and execute because it will keep swapping from RAM to processor and so on and so forth. So it will take time. So that's why your system will hang. So you can give some time. Once this is done, then I will show you that.
okay, sir.
Yeah. I'm really sorry, guys, because of this inconvenience. Guys, is it audible? Is it audible now?
Sir, it is audible, but echo is there.
Yes, sir.
Okay, give me 2 minutes. Okay, is it audible now?
Sir, yes, sir, but echo is there still.
Okay, is it echoing now?
Sir, it is fine now.
No, sir.
It is fine, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Give me 2 minutes. I will share the screen again. Have any of you tried to install virtualization, like operating system to operating systems on your laptop?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is it successful? Is it successful?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So without virtual vision also, you can able to install two operating systems at the same time. So you can install the BIOS settings. You can make it enable virtualization. Then you can install two operating systems. Right nowadays, Windows 10 operating system is coming in two variations. Have you heard about legacy and UEFCI?
No,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
No, sir.
How many of you heard legacy UFCI? So there is a difference in that. Okay, you have to enable one of them to install multiple operating systems. You can disable that, so we will be not able to install any operating system. So there are options available. How you want to carry out your tasks in your system, right? So you can install multiple operating systems or you can disable that. So while the booting itself, you'll be able to get option that which operating system you want to choose. So in my system, I installed both the operating systems. I have Windows operating system. I have Windows Ubuntu operating system. At the boot time, it's a boot time also, and at the same time, we can install virtual machine on the top of it. We can install multiple operations. Both ways you can do. Unfortunately, what happens is if I want to show like how this boot options will work, I cannot able to share the screen. There is a bit problem because once I want to share the screen, I need an operating system and a browser. In the same system, if I want to show that bootable options, it will be difficult, but I can show some screenshots like how it will look like. Maybe in the next class, I will take some screenshots and I'll show you. Okay. So that could be one possible way, but you can install multiple operating systems in your machine. That is possible nowadays. So I'm trying to kill the process of virtual machines because it's making my system slow. But even to kill, how you kill a process in Windows? Anyone has any idea?
So Control C.
Control C is in Ubuntu, right?
Sir,
Sir, in
and
task
F4.
manager, we end the task.
That also, sir, yes, sir, we can do.
Yes, you go to task manager in your operating system. You can right click. I will show you that. Give me 1 second. So you can go to your task manager. You will see the processes which are running currently. You can select that and you can click end process or end tasks. Your process will be killed. So just now I killed the VMware because it is making my system too slow, which is disturbing my class. So I cancelled it, but still now it is trying to recover. Will you be able to see my screen now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you can click here task manager. In Windows operating system, you can click task manager. In Ubuntu, how we will do that, I'll show you later. Okay, because the presentation is happening, I need a virtual machine to demonstrate how it could be done practically. That's why I chose this. But So you can click a task manager by just right clicking on the top of the panel. You can click the task manager. The task manager will open. You'll be able to see like how I showed you the processes which are running, how much CPU is occupying, how many number of cores are there, and what is the usage of cache, what is the usage of RAM, what is the usage of my hard disk. All these things you can see that in the same place. There will be a first option called process. If you click that process, you'll be able to see the process which are running currently. You can select one of them to, if something is hanged, you will be able to see that it is not responding. You can end the task. Okay, so that could be possible. Maybe it is loading now. You can see that, yeah, task manager came, but still it is running too slow. I should increase my system RAM, then this problem will be solved. You see here on the screen, you can able to see left side processes where my mouse is running. Right. So it came now. Is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
You see, there are two task managers. One task manager is showing that another task manager which is not responding. Okay, you can just select this. I will end this task. The other task manager will close. Array, this one closed. Okay. Just give me 1 second. I'll just refresh it. Okay, so all right, so let us now continue our class. We will continue. This virtualization is a bit tricky part because of RAM. It is taking too much disturbance. Right, see, I hope you are at least somewhat clear that how we can install multiple operating systems using virtual manager. There are some softwares available. We can install multiple operating systems on the top of it. I demonstrated simply, but you can take that as exercise and try it in your own systems or laptops. Install VMware and install the image of any operating system. If you have, you can directly take use of it, load the operating system by creating a new virtual machine, and you can load your operating system, or else you can try to download, which is freely available in the online, like Ubuntu, Raspberry Pi, all these operating systems which are freely available. You can download and install and try them. Okay, so that could be possible. Now let us now try to understand what is distributed systems are. So distributed system is a collection of physically separate, possibly heterogeneous computer systems that are networked. So using network, we will try to connect multiple systems which may not be the same. Like for example, in your this is one sort of distributed system only. Like I am using Dell operating system. Perhaps some of you may be using Lenovo operating system. We are all networked together for this class, which could be possible using internet. Okay, so the internet is playing an important role here for the network to provide the users to access the various resources of the system that maintains. So a network in the simplest forms is a communication between two or more systems. That's what we are doing now. We are trying to communicate two or three systems at the same time. So many of you told that my audio device is not properly audible. So what I did is I disabled my, you can see here on the bottom right corner of your screen, my sound is mute. Sound is mute. What I did is I tried to join through my mobile, and the audio which I am telling you, which you are hearing, is from a mobile, but the PPT which I am sharing is from my system, okay, which my computer. So I'm trying to connect 2-3 systems using an internet, and you'll be able to see and listen to my voice with multiple ways, right? We are networked something, they are heterogeneous. My mobile device is not same as my laptop or my computer. We are heterogeneous and we are trying to connect through somehow, right? So that is how the network works because of TCP IP protocol. TCP IP is the internet protocol which provides a fundamental architecture to the internet. We are able to connect from one place to other place through the system. So we have 3 types of networks. You have local area network, LAN, which connects computers within a room or a building or a campus. Okay, so this is your local area network. We have metropolitan area network, which could link buildings within the city. We have a wide area network, usually buildings, cities and countries. So what we are using nowadays is, in this today's class, is a wide area network, right? You are at across different places of your country, and I'm in Allahabad, and you might be at Andhra Pradesh or Tamil Nadu or North India of various states, many states. Right?
Allahabad, sir.
Yeah, it could be, but people are from different places also will be able to connect. I'm saying that far, people who are far also could able to listen the class, right?
Yes, sir.
So that's what I'm. Okay, so this could be possible, and I mean, in order to achieve a simple task, we are using internet as a medium, but we can connect to get the work job done. For connecting an actual work, also you can do that using distributed systems. That's how we call. If you remember the first class, we discussed about data centers. You remember that there is a portable computer, mobile computers, and which are portable.
Yes, sir.
Then we discussed personal stations, we discussed workstations, we discussed supercomputer. We at that time, if you recall, I told about data centers. Data centers is where your data is stored, which will act as a server, right? So the Facebook or any social media, how they are providing the data, so much of content of images, video, text in single very fastly, because they keep data centers at different places. Okay, they keep, India has its own data center of Facebook. So although Facebook was invented by Americans, once you want access, we will not go to the server of America. Okay, so there will be data centers in India, there will be data centers in every country where that application, if they want to launch. So we will go our local data center, and it will be connected somehow through internet. Okay, that's also one of the interesting way of approaching the data distributed systems. On the top of it, this distributed systems is used for many other applications like cloud computing and all these things. I will discuss that maybe at the end of this today's class. So we have other ways also, like if you can able to see Bluetooth and 802.11, which is nothing but a Wi-Fi. I hope many of in your home you would have installed a router which will provide internet access to your mobile device, to your laptop or to your computer, right? So which is a Wi-Fi, which is, we call that as a personal area network, which will work only in a feet, in a maybe distance of a feet, maybe in your home itself. So we call that as a personal area network. The distance is very less, but you can still have a network. You can connect your mobile internet data to your personal area network, that could be possible. Okay, so that is one way. A network operating system is an operating system that provides features like file sharing across the network, communication scheme that allows a different process on different computers to exchange messages. This is also another way of networking operating systems. If you heard like FTP, HTTP, they are the protocols which are being helpful to make this file transfer possible. If you want to see that what is FTP, is a file transfer protocol. If you know the IP address of a particular system, and once you load that acts as a server, you can download from any remote machine that file. You can access the file using FTP protocol. Okay. Likewise, there are many protocols are available for us to make our job easy, which we can able to share the data and contents. I'm not sharing the full screen because my system is running slow, so I'm trying to not waste time, and we will proceed with whatever possible way we can have. Okay, please cooperate with me. You can zoom from your side if you're watching from mobile. In your respective phones, you can able to see the text properly. You can able to see the text properly, right? Although it is not full screen, still you'll be able to see the screen and contents, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, so we have kernel data structures. So as I told that operating system important integral part is a kernel. Now a kernel will, as I told that in order to provide an efficiency, how a load balancing could be done, how various issues are handled, like how a file is loaded, how a memory a process is loaded, because ultimately the RAM is an array of bytes, right? So you have to have some logic of how you are handling and storing your data. That's where the kernel data structures will come. See, in kernel data structures, all these concepts are implemented, like linked list. In linked list, you have three types: single linked list, double linked list, and circular linked list. We will discuss all these concepts in the subsequent classes. Maybe perhaps some of you would have aware of by this time what is linked list is. You have stacks. Stacks works in lost in first out. I will also show you that how the pictures will be done in the subsequent classes. So you will have a single array, like if you see in any shop like Big Bazaar or go to any shop, you have the rice bags of 25 kg. Can you see? I mean, have you seen it?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
So
sir.
how
sir.
they are kept, how they are kept,
Sir.
the rice bag kept on one top of the other, right?
One top of the other. Yes, sir.
So which you will take the first?
Yes, sir.
The top one.
uppermost one.
Top one. The top
Top one. That is the one you kept last, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So that is last in. Last you kept, that will be first out. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So that is one way of stack. You can see that the way you are arranging your rice bags in the supermarket or at your home is the way we can call that as a stack. So whatever you kept at the last, that will be taken first. Okay, whatever you kept first, it will be taken at the last. So if you have to take the first, you have to remove all the rest of the elements which you kept on the top. Okay, so that's how a simple mechanism of stack works. And queue works in a first in, first out. You go to a bank, you wait in a queue. Whoever comes first, they will get the service first, right? Have you got the
Yes,
bank?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Will wait in a queue, right? So that's that was a logic. Like once you are storing data, how we are accessing, that could be a various ways you can access. There are some applications where you need stack. There are applications where we need queue. There are applications where we need linked list, and there are applications where we need tree. See, linked list, stack, views are all linear data structures. I will discuss that in detail. Trees is a non-linear data structure. A tree will have many branches. If you see a tree, you have a root will come a stem will have multiple branches. The branches will where if you can observe any tree, right? So what the tree, what we are going to see is predominantly a binary tree. A binary tree will have only 2 children. At most, you will have 2 children. You will see upside down. Okay, on the top you will have root. On the down you will have childrens. Okay, you will flip the tree. It will look like the upside down tree is what we are going to look at it. So when I say binary tree, you have 2 children. At most, you have a parent will have a root will have 2 children or 2 branches. Okay, 2 branches. You have 1 branch, still you can call that as a binary tree. You have 0 branches, still you can call that as a binary tree. And what are the various things that also we will study in detail. So binary tree will have at most 2 children, maximum 2 children. And when you want to search an element in a binary tree, you want to find whether element is there or not. You are going to the left or going to the right. In which order you are going, so that you will find an element in a minimum time is what a binary search tree is. We'll also try to look at it, what is binary search tree and how that will be useful. We have also balanced tree. You can balance your tree in such a way that your access time will be less if you want to reach all the nodes. There are ways where you are, how you are arranging your tree is also makes a difference. So balanced binary search tree is one of the beautiful concept. The trees, like your tree will be balanced with respect to all the branches. Okay, so we also call that as a red black tree. We will try to discuss all these things. We have hash functions, maps, bitmaps, all these concepts of data structures we will use in the kernel data structures. Okay, so studying data structures is an important part. Are you able to see my screen or it stopped?
Sir, stop.
Stop.
Okay, give me 1 second. I will again check. Unfortunately, today my system is behaving very badly. Okay, my internet is gone in my computer. That's why you are not able to see the screen. I will refresh it. How many of you had an overview of what is a data structure is? Have you studied data structures in any of your previous classes? Could you able to get chance to study data structures in your first year C programming?
No, sir.
Sir, only stacks were told during compilation, how the compiler works in that part.
Okay. So don't worry, we will discuss in detail in this course what is the data structures is. Okay, before sharing my screen, whatever I'm saying, is it make sense to you? Like, am I going too fast? Am I going too slow? Is it whatever I'm trying? My communication is making sense to you guys?
Yes, sir.
Sort of, sir.
What do you mean by sort of?
Some things I cannot understand, but yeah, some things I can.
You should have asked me what you are not able to understand. We'll discuss that.
Actually, sir, I have not taken last 2 classes, so that's why I cannot understand, but I'll cover that.
Okay, so that's not my mistake. So you can go through the slides. Where the slides has been shared already. You can go through the slides, and still if you're not able to understand, you can feel free to fire your questions.
Sir, can you explain tree once again?
Yeah, we will discuss tree in detail. Tree is one of the data structure. Like how you see a tree, right? your tree will have root and branches. So likewise, you'll have a tree, a data structure of tree. We will discuss in depth. Don't worry, I will discuss all these data structures in depth. I will explain what is a tree, what is a binary search tree, what is balanced binary tree, how we can able to carry out some operations in each data structures. We will try to see that. But try to understand one thing for this class, that kernel data structures uses all this. There are different data structures, like how we are arranging your data, or a stack or a queue or a tree. There are various ways of arranging your data structures in a logical way. Okay, we will study in depth how they look like, what is the mechanism, what are the various operations on each data structure. In depth we will study. I will take you through all this in depth. But for this class, for this slide, you can understand that linked list, stacks, queues, trees are various types of data structures. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let us go ahead now. Okay, so let us now continue our discussion. Then after discussing all these things, we'll stop. Okay, so we have various computing environments. As I told, we have traditional computing, you have mobile computing, you have client server computing, you have peer-to-peer computing, you have cloud computing, you have real-time embedded systems computing. There are various computing environments. For all these computing environments to enable, we need an operating system, and each computing environments works in a beautiful way, and operating system should be able to cooperate in all these aspects. Operating system, when you're designing, you should consider all these parameters. I can't say that I will design an operating system only in my work alone personal computer. Then in that case, it may not work in client server, or it may not work in peer-to-peer. It may not work in clouds, right? So when you're designing an operating system, you need to consider n number of parameters. What are the various computing environments are there currently? We can have a brief idea that will also help us to understand a different perspective of operating system. So traditional computing, we all know that we have a personal computer. You carry out your operations in your personal computer. Traditionally, that's how we have a brief idea of what is a computer is. Like you watch a movie, you do some work in your Excel sheet, you surf the internet. Predominantly, we use these applications. But ideally, the traditional computer, like using when you're going for an office, you're asked to do your work. Like in my office, I have a system that I'm sharing. My job is to take classes, and I'm sharing my screen and taking the class. So you have a personal computer. That is one of the way of looking the traditional computers, like using the web technologies and increasing wireless network bandwidth. The stretch of traditional computers going beyond. Okay. Batch systems is one of the systems where you can process the job in bulk, provided that the input files are predetermined or from the other data sources. You have an interactive system which is waiting from the input from the user. Batch systems is you are predetermined without an input also, it will start working. You already determined how the system will work, and the input will be given from the files from the other data sources. It will executing its job. So there is nothing great about it. Interactive systems is what we are interested. Like when I'm moving a mouse here, when I'm trying to do something from a user, so I'm doing something interactive, and computer is waiting for an input from the users, right? So these are two different types of computing when you look into the traditional computing. So to optimize the computing resources, multiple users can share these systems. Time sharing system is also one of the things, like when you you can keep a time, schedule algorithms, how a process can be shared for a particular person for some time, and share other resources from other people. If you go to office, you will be able to get that. Suppose you install a cloud, you can access some amount of memory from the cloud to your system, and that some amount of processors, all these things you can schedule and also you can use it. The same scheduling technique is used on the desktop computers, laptop servers, mobile computers, which are frequently owned by the same user by the operating system. You have sharing system, time sharing systems. The logic how one system can be shared among many people, the same logic is used among the processors for the same user among the different tasks in a single user operating system. This is how a traditional computing works like. You have a mobile computing, which refers to handheld smartphones, tablet computers, because mobiles are used nowadays for email, web browsing, playing music, video, digital books, taking photos, recording, editing, high definition video, and so on and so forth. So also this mobile computing has GPS chips, accelerometers, and gyroscopes with all these unique features. Even you will not able to get these features in your laptop or computer. So your mobile is even acting sometimes more powerful than a desktop computer, right? But the problem is the power consumption. Your mobile having all these features of GPS, accelerometers, and gyroscopes. Along with that, you are trying to take HD quality video and you are trying to edit it. You are trying to browse email. All these applications, you need a lot of power. So power consumption is a concern, and the processors which you are using are very smaller or slower. Then compared to the other processors found on the traditional desktop laptops, but still you'll be able to carry out your applications, because this is one of the where mobile computing is coming to the picture, where you can carry out all these tasks. There are two operating systems dominating the mobile computing, is Apple iOS and Google Android, which works. Apple iOS works on Apple phones and Google Android any smartphone. Except iOS, right? So you can predominantly that Google Android operating system, which is coming, has been popularized more than iOS. But when it comes to brand, many people prefer to go for Apple. Okay, so that's a crazy. Anyway, so this is one of the other computing environment. You have a client server computing. It's a specialized kind of distributed system. You have one server, you have a network, you have different clients. Okay, you have a client desktop, you have a client smartphone, you have a client laptop, you have different clients. Using one network, you are trying to get the job done from the server. So that could be one of the possible ways. So when a client needs some service, it will ask the server to provide the service. The server will meet the service to whatever the client is requesting. Okay, so this is one of the way of server client distributing network. Can you tell one example for this? Can you realize any one example where client server system works?
Sir, in Alexa or something like.
No, Alexa. Okay. Right. So Alexa is a server, you are bought as a server, and your laptop, your light or your fan, which are acting as a client. You meant to say like that, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, one of the beautiful way of looking is like you have a central library here.
Yes, sir.
So we'll be
Yes,
able
sir.
to access the files, books, resources, e-files, e-resources.
Yes, sir.
So they are loaded in our server, okay? And you can download that file, a particular file from a particular place through a network, but files are stored in a single central library in our campus. That's one application. You can look at it for example, in your admissions, the Dean of Academics is maintaining a server about all of your records, all of your transcripts. You are able to access them through via network. So there are many applications where a specialized distributed systems we can do as a server client operating system. So the client has no authorized to carry out some operations. It will simply ask the server to do it. Server will do the job and get it back and it will put you back to the result. So you give the results, your results are uploaded, your grades are uploaded in the server of Dean of Academics. So at the time of result, you will fetch your number through some portal. You will request a service from the server will fetch your answer. So that's how your IIT JEE GATE exam will also work. In IIT JEE, whenever a college is hosting, there is a server in their college, the results are stored. You fetch your query that I want to know for this roll number, what is the result? The server will verify and get the result back to your client system. Okay, so you are not doing any job, you are just asking the server to do your job and get the service done. Okay, this is one type of system. Like you have a peer-to-peer computing. So this is another structure of distributed computing. One of the best example of distributed peer-to-peer computing is Skype. Okay, Skype. How many of you use Skype? Anyone? Do you know what is Skype?
So browser
Sir, it is like Zoom video.
Yeah, Skype is a tool where you can have video calls. We can send video, we can make video calls, we can text, you can work in different ways. It works with a protocol like VoIP, voice over internet. Nowadays, whenever you say that 4G VoIP, have you heard that 4G LTE VoIP?
Yes, sir.
So in earlier days, when you are making a call, the call used to go through analog communication. Now it is going through digital communication because your voice is also converted into data, and data is transmitted through the communication channel. Maybe you will study in depth when you are studying the electronics course in the coming days. So Skype uses hybrid peer-to-peer approach. You have different, you have all clients will be connected to all clients. Suppose this client is talking to another client, then another client which is providing the service may act as a server. Okay. So there is no specific word in server because they are all connected with each other, and they will provide service to each other. Okay. Suppose this guy is this client is making a service to the another guy, then the another client will act as a server to provide the service. But on the next time, this guy can act as a client to get a service from other client. Then other client will act as a server. So in peer-to-peer computing, like all will be acting as a clients and all will be acting as a servers. Like in your class, you are getting help from one friend. Next time, your friend may get help from you. Okay, so you're all peers, peers to each other. You are helping each other. If the teacher, what they are saying is not making sense to some students, you will come in between to teach your friends what is this concept is all about. Trust me that beyond my teachers, my friends, I learned better than the teachers that through my friends. They will teach in a single moment of time the concepts very nicely. Okay, anyway, so perhaps you might have since you are not in the campus, I don't know whether you'll be able to do that or not, but now you are in the campus, you may get used to it. So the idea is like you have multiple systems, they will take help of each other by connecting with each other at a time. Okay, so this is one way of computing, peer-to-peer computing. So you have a cloud computing because of that virtualization that we discussed earlier. This cloud computing is making help. In cloud computing, it delivers the computing also, storage also, applications also across the network. It is a logical extension of virtualization because uses virtualization as a base of the functionality. There are various types of clouds. In public cloud, cloud will be available. Cloud means like your system, right? Your system, like your processor, your access of RAM, number of processors, number of hard disk, amount of hard disk, all these details are available. Although you don't own the hardware, still you will be able to get the service through internet. Okay, so cloud means like somebody is having hardware, they were making it available online, you are making use of it. So you are not paying money for your hardware, you are not purchasing the hardware, still you will be able to own a computer because of somebody else providing it to make it use. That's what the cloud actually means. So when you say public, publicly the clouds are available, like so whoever owns the internet, you can own to pay this, you pay the services, anyone can have their own computing systems. Private cloud, which could be run only by few companies, for a company's its own purpose. Hybrid cloud, which contains both public and private cloud components. You can provide three applications. One is software as a service. You can provide one or more applications like word processor, spreadsheets via internet to make it your job done, or you can provide platform as a service, the software stack for application via internet, for example a database server. You can provide infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure means your complete server, like storage available over internet, backup copies, production of data, all these things we can provide the information to via internet. So these are the three important services that you can take advantage in cloud computing. Is it make sense what actually is cloud computing, or you want me to explain it again? You want me to explain it again, or shall we go ahead?
Go ahead, sir.
Right. So this is how the something like cloud computing works. Like there is somewhere the servers are stored. Okay. Somewhere we call that as a data centers. Also, you have storage. You have servers are there. On the top of it, you run virtual machines. You have cloud management services which will provide. So you have an internet. Okay, you have internet here. For all this data, you have a load balancer, like how the work is distributed. You have a firewall. When a cloud customer interface is coming through internet, a customer requests a service. The cloud customer interface will request a service to the cloud management service using cloud management commands. So it will provide the service via internet to the user. So this is how a simple working mechanism of cloud computing. So we have real-time embedded systems. You can see that the real-time embedded systems are found everywhere in car engines and manufacturing robots, microwave ovens. You have some way of interfacing, making something working automatic, right? They tend to have very specific. They all works in real-time embedded systems. Whenever you say real-time embedded systems, there is an operating system running behind, which we call that as a real-time operating system. Usually they have little or no user interface. When I discussed in the first class, an operating system can be have little or no interface means how we are interfacing in your smartphone, how we are interfacing with your computer, and how we are interfacing with your microwave oven. Compared to that, the real-time embedded systems will have little or no interface. How we are monitoring and managing our hardware devices such as automobile engines or robotic arms. So, and our real-time operating systems running behind that, systems that control like scientific experiments like medical imaging, industrial control systems, certain display systems are all real-time systems. Some automobile engine fuel injection systems, home appliance and controls, weapon systems are also real-time systems which works on real-time operating system. So I think we come to the end of this class. So these are the various computing environments. If you have any doubts in today's class, please let me know. So we discussed all these things like, yeah.
Sir, is Tor a peer-to-peer type, peer-to-peer communication type?
Yes.
Okay.
You download the files from Tor, right?
Yes, sir.
So torrent, you meant to say torrent, right? Torrent is where you are sharing
No,
the
sir,
file and you're downloading.
Sir, the Tor software which comes with comes in Linux, some of the Linux, like in Tails.
How many of you heard what is torrent? Have you tried to download some files using torrent?
Yes, sir.
Any of you?
Yes, sir.
So when you're trying to download some file, you will get
Yes,
a
sir.
torrent link also, or actual file link also. So the torrent link is where the data is stored in someone's server. Using the Tor link, you are trying to access their system and trying to download the file. So it works in peer-to-peer computing. All torrents works on peer-to-peer computing. So you go to Amazon, you have a lot of data, right? On that Amazon, have you done shopping in Amazon or Flipkart?
Yes, sir.
So that's an e-commercial website, but the data and image they are stored in a website. There are so many contents. There are so many variations. There are so many items, right? How they are handling all those data and how they are providing services to the user. Which computing environment is used?
Sir, they may fetch from different manufacturers the data from a different manufacturer server.
Right. So Amazon has its own warehouse also. They are keeping their data in their own warehouse, and they may contacting some merchants as acting as intermediary also. So indirectly, all these e-commercial websites, they store their data on the cloud. Okay, so indirectly they are storing their data on the cloud, and you are trying to have a client server computing. Now when you're requesting a service, you are making Amazon, you are directly fetching a query to Amazon server. The Amazon server, if it provides service, you are getting the service, something like that. Okay. So I will share today's slide. You can see that whether you'll be able to see the slide or not. We'll stop here. We will continue our discussion. Next class onwards, we'll discuss data structures. We will try to have a brief idea about what is data structures are. Okay, then we'll get back to operating systems again.
Sir?
Yes.
Sir, which book did you tell about for the OS part?
Operating systems, Abraham Silberscratch, Peter Galvin. You can search with that. Gerg.
Okay, sir.
Sir, if you have that book in PDF form, then please share it in Teams.
No, I have a textbook which is hard copy. If you want a soft copy, you can buy it from Amazon, or I should not share such kind of documents on online. It's actually illegal.
Okay, sir. Sir, please say the name again so that I can write.
I shared you in your first class. You can see that in first class slide.
Oh,
you can
those
see
reference books.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So you can see here. I will show you that class. Can you able to see the screen? First lecture, basics of computers.
Yes. 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 Sir.
That you can see this book, Operating Systems Concepts, Abraham Silberscratch and Peter Galvin. Yeah, I highlighted, I selected that.
Yes, yes, I got it. Thank you.
So you can buy the recent edition. I'm following the 9th edition, but 10th edition is also come online. So you can buy that. And also, if you are interested in buying a data structure book, buy, see, this is the data structure book which is prescribed, Fundamentals of Data Structures by Horowitz and Sahni, which is in your textbook, and Data Structures using by C. by Tannenbaum. But I'll be following one more book, Classic Data Structures by D. Samantha. You can note down that also. If you want to download, you can download from that, which is very nicely explained. about what are the various types of data structures. Okay, can you able to see the screen? I mean,
Not
can you
now,
able to see
sir.
the slide? Can you able to see the slide now, which I uploaded? Lecture 4, Introduction to Operating System Part 3.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay, so give me 1 second. I want to show you something. So have I given any assignments to you?
You or OS DS lab, ma'am?
No, did I give you any assignments?
No, sir. You
No,
did not
sir.
give an assignment.
Okay, so your first assignment is you have to explore that what are the differences between various. First, you note down, you explore that, list down the operating system, explore or list. Okay, explore and list various operating systems that you can know. Okay, when they are released, what are the futures systems in the market. Then second assignment is we can explore what is the difference between, find the difference between what is I3, oh shit, give me 1 second. Arey yaar. So there are two things. I will upload the assignment in some time. Your job is to explore the theoretical work, explore the various operating systems that are available in the market. Second is explore what are the difference between i3, i5, i7, i9, AMD processor, then Pentium processor, your mobile, what is your current mobile processor which they are running. Explore all these details and submit a report. Okay, your deadline would be next Thursday. This is your first assignment.
Sir, a typed report, right?
Yeah, you have to write a report in a Word document. You can write a report and
Yes.
submit.
Okay, sir.
I will upload the instructions here in your class, in your team. You can look that. But give me some time. It is taking time to load. Anyway, so this is your first assignment. I will give that and give the deadline by next Friday. You can follow that. Okay. Anything else you want to ask?
No, sir. Sir, the deadline again, please.
Next Thursday.
Okay.
Due date. '25. So I signed the assignment. I will be able to see. Please verify. Can you able to click the assignments and see whether you'll be able to see the assignment or not?
Yes, sir, it is there.
Click open and read. Anyone can open and read?
No, sir, only from the lab are given there.
No, in the data structures and operating system teams, click the assignment and check.
Sir, it hasn't come yet.
Oh. Okay, I did from my side. Maybe you will get an update soon. You can able to see
Okay, sir.
that I have given. Okay. So
Yes,
that's
sir.
all from my side today. We thought of covering data structures, but due to the system hanged, we'll be not able to cover that. Anyhow, we will cover from the next class onwards. We have sufficient time. And again, my apologies for the things which happened due to this virtual mission. My system got hanged. So you can try and play and install an operating system. Try to install an operating system on your own in your respective missions and see how it works. Take that
Sir,
as
you
a
mean that virtual machine then?
you can take virtual machine and install and see how your operating system works. Or else, how many of you know how to install an operating system in your machines? If your mission crashes, could you able to install your own operating system in your laptops?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. From ISO 5.
Good. If I guess many of you would have known that. If you don't know, learn that. Okay, learn how to install an operating system. If you go to if there is any repair in your computer, if you go to the market to just replace an operating system, they will charge 300 or 500. Okay, so you can do it for free if you know how to install an operating system. It's not that difficult. Nowadays, with an Windows 10 operating system, the user interface is very easy. Once you have an image, all you have to do is simply load an operating system, make it bootable, and you can do the rest of the things very easy. Okay, try to do that. And if you are facing any issues, let me know. We'll discuss that.
Sir, now in our PC, which operating system we have, can we remove it and install other one?
Yes, you can do that.
Okay, sir.
Automatically, when you are installing other one, it will be replaced unless you provide an bootable interface in the beginning itself. So suppose you install an operating system Windows, and on the top of it you can install Linux also. You can install 2 operating systems in your machine. That's possible.
Sir, like dual boot.
Okay. Operating system, we haven't tried dual booting of that also. You can try dual booting operating system, see how that works. If already you know how to install dual booting operating system, you try to install virtual machines and try to install 2-3 operating systems and verify. And if you are facing any issue, let me know in the next class. We'll discuss that. Okay.
Sir. Sir.
Yes. Yes. Yes, I'm listening. Continue. I think you muted again.
Sir, I'm audible.
Yes, you are audible.
Sir, my system is on RAID interference. Then how can I install? How can I dual boot?
What your system is?
Sir, on RAID interference from Intel.
What is RAID interference?
Sir, it makes a linear combination of that of different drives. Sir, it become difficult to dual boot or do something like that.
Right, that's an see. You go to boot options. In the boot options, you will find an option like how you want to make your system bootable, like legacy or UFCI, something like that. It will be there now. You change that. You change that, then your system will enable you to install multiple operating systems.
Okay, sir.
Anything else?
Sir, the assignment just arrived.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
The assignment is visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now it's visible, right?
Sir, we need to write on paper or Word we can?
Word document. You have to write in a Word document. Don't write in handwriting. I will not accept the handwriting.
Okay, sir.
And you should write in Word document, and I will compare. I will run a plagiarism software where I'll come to know that whether you copied or not.
Got it, sir.
Okay, so you can leave.
Yes,
We'll
sir.
meet next Tuesday.
Thank you, sir.
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 Fine,